Hey friends, the next step in this series is Auto Layout, one of the most powerful features in Figma. Auto Layout can make buttons, menus, entire layouts flow like magic. It's meant to support you, making your design process smoother and faster. But here's the trap many designers fall into. You get so obsessed with building everything perfectly with auto layouts, even when you're just brainstorming rough ideas. But the truth is, you don't need to use auto layouts every single time. When you're validating ideas, speed and clarity matter way more than pixel perfect structures. If you're in a brainstorm meeting or rapidly exploring new concepts, don't waste time fussing over frames and paddings. Focus on what it matters, the ideas. Because during the early stage, every second you save fuels your creativity, and that's the real superpower. Auto layout is amazing, but like every tool, it's only powerful when you use it at the right time. Plus, in the next video, we will take this knowledge and start building your first dashboard from scratch. I've added a Figma file, the link is in the description, with ready to use elements you can explore right away. So let's start simple with layout flow. To apply auto layout is pretty simple. I have here these three ellipses that I will select, and if I press Shift A, they will be grouped now into a frame using auto layout. But you can do this with two more ways. So let me undo. You can right click and add auto layout, or you can go to the right sidebar and use auto layout. So you can click this icon that will apply the same properties. And if we look here into the layers panel on the left hand side, you might see that this frame 9 that contains our ellipses has a different icon for frames. So the normal frame icon is this one. So if I create here a new frame, you get this normal frame icon. That means that this frame doesn't have auto layout applied. So if I now with the frame 10 selected, if I press Shift A, you might see that the icon changed. That means that this frame has auto layout. Let me delete this frame and get back to the one with auto layout. Now we have this layout flow direction that is horizontal, and we can see that here in these controls, we have three types of direction. We have the horizontal, which is the one we have right now, vertical, that will align everything vertically, and wrapped. And you might be thinking that wrapped is the same as horizontal, but that's where it gets interesting. If I now click in the frame border and start dragging inside, you see that the content will adapt. And this is so cool when you are working with galleries or multiple cards, the objects will flow horizontally and wrap to the next line. Next, the canvas stacking order. So sometimes you might be working with negative spacing between objects that will create stacks, so layers on top of other layers. So if I reduce here the horizontal gap between these objects, these ellipses, and the way you can do this is with the frame selected. When you hover these gaps, it appears these bars that you can click and drag. And as you can see, now my ellipses are on top of each other. So if you want to bring the purple ellipse on top, you can do this manually. So you could drag the ellipse one here down below, but it changes the order as you see, or you could do bring to front, but it applies the same thing. But if you apply stacking, this will have a different behavior and you don't need to change anything manually. So if you click in your frame and go here to auto layout settings, it opens this window, and here the canvas stacking, instead of last on top, you want first on top. And now it changed the position of our layers. And if you look, I will change back to last on top, but if you look here to the layers panel, you might notice that nothing changes. So the beauty of this feature is that the layers stay in the same position. You just need to change here the canvas stacking and it will apply visually. So next is ignore auto layout. It might be cases that you have a component created with auto layout that you want to add some extra layer, but you don't want to add it to auto layout. So for example, if I drag here this ellipse, I have this card that I created, which contains auto layout. So if you look here to the layers panel, it has the icon representing the property of auto layout. And if I click and drag inside, you might see that it will apply auto layout accordingly to my card. Okay, but I don't want this. I want to ignore auto layout. So the way you can do is that you can drag, and while dragging, you can click Control and it goes inside of the frame. So the ellipse is already inside of the frame, but it's ignoring the auto layout. So if I place it here, it will stay. Okay, and I can move it around right now that nothing it's happening because I ignore auto layout. So if I now click on my frame and try to drag it, you may see that it's inside of it. So this is one way. The other way, if you cannot use control, you can put it here inside, but then you can go here to the right hand sidebar and click ignore auto layout, and the same will happen. So now you can work as you wish, and the layer is inside of the main frame, but it's not using auto layout. Next, we have gaps between items. So looking at this card that I created using auto layout, we have some gaps here in between, and you can change them automatically. So by click and drag here, and it will automatically find the gaps in between my image, my title, and my description, and also text. And whatever I change, so I'm increasing here to 36, and the same will apply to the other ones. And also, for example, in this case, I created a different frame inside of my main frame, as you can see here on the left hand side, the layers panel. And this frame that contains inside of it the tags has a gap between each other of 8. And I can change it manually here also, but I can also go here to the properties panel and adjust here the horizontal gap. So instead of 8, I can put it 4. And here in the main one, instead of 36, I can also change here to 24, for example, sorry, 24, and it reduces, or 14, or 8. So it depends on the use case that you want, but you can change the gaps between objects here in the image or on the right hand side in the properties panel. Next, we have padding. Padding controls the white space or the empty space between the boundary on an auto layout frame and the frame's child object. You can set paddings uniformly, vertically, and horizontally, or add different values on top, right, bottom, and left padding. So you can adjust this in different ways. I can adjust this one on top, the left one, or if I hold Option and Shift, I can change all at once. That's so cool. Okay, but if you want to do this manually on the right hand side in this panel, you have here the horizontal padding. So I can change this to 20, but you can also change the vertical padding here to 16. But as you can see, I only have here the both sides or both top and bottom. But if I click here, I can do individual padding. So I can now adjust the left one. On top, I want 20. So I'm putting random values so that you see that you can do it individually, which is pretty cool. Now, the next one is alignment. Probably is familiar for you already. So when you are using frames with auto layout, you can align the objects inside of it by using these elements here. So as you might see in this frame that has auto layout and it's called alignment, I have another frame inside of it with my ellipses. So if I select the main frame, I can go here to this alignment box and just select where I want them to be aligned. That's pretty cool. This one might be the most complicated to understand. It's about fixed width or heights, hug or fill contents, and minimum and maximum dimensions. and you have multiple approaches to apply dimensions into your designs. So let's first create a new frame here. I will drag here a new frame, and it's a normal frame, so I will apply Shift A to apply auto layout to it. And here in the right hand side you have these auto layout properties, and you have contents or fixed width. And when we are using fixed width, it means that no matter what components you have inside of it, if it's less than 6040 14 pixels, it will remain the same 6040. But if you increase more, it will also stay the same. And if you have contents, the main frame that has auto layout will shrink or expand depending on the size of the components. But let's see it in practice. I will change fixed height and width here, and to make it rounded, let me put 300. Okay, just like that. And I put it manually. And I will drag my button here inside of the frame. And as you can see, it didn't done anything. But if I start to expand, nothing will happen. So it's becoming hiding here. But now, if I select my main frame back again, and instead of fixed width, I change to egg content, you notice that my frame follows the rest of the button. So, and if I shrink it, it will shrink also my main frame. And if I expand the same, now we can do the same for the height. So instead of fixed width 300, I can also make it content. And what this represents is that if I select now another button and put it here, we will have two buttons and the frame adapted. So if I start to expand this one, it will adapt. Pretty cool. The same happens with text. So here in my hello button, if I start to type, it's follow the background of the button, it's following along because it's set to ag content. But if I make it fixed with 217 and start to write, you might notice that the background doesn't follow. Plus, you also have the min and max width sizes. So let's say that I want that my minimum size of this button, instead of 217, be 300. So here you click and you have add min width and put it 300. And it will directly update to 300 because I was using a lower number before. And also you can set the maximum width for this button. So the same approach, you click here, add max width, and I want 500. Okay, and you already have here a preview. Let me drag this here down below. So here you have already the preview of where the button will maximize the most. So if I now go here and try to drag it, it will stop at the 500 pixels max. And it says already here that it's applied his max. So if I start to typing, hello, thanks for watching, you notice that it's starting to going out of my button. And it doesn't matter if you have UG content, because since you define a min and max dimensions, that will be the rule that Figma will follow along. And to finalize, we have fill container. So let's say we have this container with these blocks. So this is a frame with auto layout, and inside of it, I have two more frames with auto layout. And inside of them, I have two rectangles on this one and three rectangles on this one. And when I hover this frame, you might see that there's some free space here. So we have here the gaps in between, but we have free space here. And also in the one below, I have my rectangles going further my main frame. So if I select the objects inside of each frame, I can go here to layout, and instead of fixed width, I want to fill the container. And what will happen is that both rectangles will occupy the complete space of the frame that I created. So now if you select the frame here, it's occupying the complete frame, keeping my gap that I selected before. And you can reduce it or you can expand. It doesn't matter. It depends on the use case that you want. And the same I can do here. So if I select all rectangles, you pressing shift and go here to fill container, you might notice that it shrinked to the width of my frame. And then I can collapse my frame, I can expand, and it will reduce proportionally my rectangles, keeping the existing gap. So here it's 44, and if I expand it, it's also 44. And this is great because when you are creating galleries or creating some pages for websites, let's say that instead of 3 columns, you want now 2 columns. You can simply delete and it will directly move the rest of the rectangles proportionally across our frames. And this goes directly to the previous video where we were dealing with grids, that everything becomes aligned if we are using the right values for grids so that we can adapt our frames for those grids. Then you can also press select one, and if you press Command D, that it will duplicate this orange rectangle, it will shrink to 3 columns, keeping the same gap, and the width of each rectangle will become the same proportion. So then I can also add more, and they will always fit inside of this frame that we decided that it will be fill container, and the proportions will be always filled by Figma. And that's it regarding auto layout. Use the file in the description to explore these elements and get used to use this feature. In the next video, we will start creating our main components using what we learned in this video to apply it in your dashboard. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a great day.